Hey there, what's up guys? This is ARTFX and today we're gonna be doing something special. In the last few years you might have seen videos popping up on YouTube called Strange Sounds in the Skies or Trumpets of the Skies. You know, videos like this one. Or this one. Today we're gonna try to remake these sounds, and that might be interesting because people are hearing these sounds and they don't really know where it's coming from. At least that is what they want us to believe. What I think though is that it's really easy to fake these videos because there's only one thing that we have to, well, you know, go by to be sure that the sound is there, and that's the audio. There's no other way to tell if that sound is really there. So to fake one of these videos, the only thing you gotta fake is the audio. And that makes it really easy to fake one of these things. Now also, if you look at this Ukraine video, there's nobody else hanging out of their window. So either this apartment building is completely abandoned, or this video is a hoax. Because otherwise, if this guy would have heard these sounds, I think other people should hear them as well. Also, in some of these videos you'll see people walking in the background. Why are these people not standing still and asking themselves where the sound is coming from? Why is nobody else watching up? Those are things that, to me, point out a fake video. But there are instances where there's no other people in the shot. There's no way to tell if this is a fake or real video. And then you actually gotta think, well, what are these sounds? You know, are these sounds actually easy to create? So when we want to create sounds like this, there's one thing we gotta do, and that's listen to the sound and find out what the characteristic things of this sound are. There's one thing in particular that I hear really clearly, and that's it sounds like a big piece of metal being bent or twisted or anything like that. But it has to be a huge piece of metal because it creates this really drony, really low kind of sound, right? I was thinking of that, you know, and tried to find out, you know, like, what can we do? Can we just maybe pitch down some metallic kind of sounds? Maybe some coins or something like that? Either some kind of metal thing. And then I suddenly realized that there is actually a technique used in the film industry for a long time. I mean, people have been using this technique for so long to create creepy and horrifying sounds. And that involves putting a piece of really cold, dry ice against a piece of much hotter metal. When you do that, it kind of like sounds a little like this. Or like this. So that's awesome, right? I mean, what is going on here? Because the metal is much hotter than the dry ice, when the metal touches the dry ice, that dry ice will instantly go from a solid form into a gas form. So it's actually skipping the whole liquid part, the liquid form. But because it turns into a gas, that gas needs to go somewhere. So it's gonna push outwards, which is gonna push against the metal. So it's either gonna push the dry ice away from the metal, or it's gonna push the metal away from the dry ice, either one of the two. And it's gonna create this vibration. And that vibration will create sound. So when you use different types of metal and different sizes of metal objects pressing against a piece of dry ice, you can create a whole variety of interesting sounds. So that technique has been used in the film industry for such a long time to create these horrifying sounds. And to me, it's one of the best ways how we could try and recreate some of these sounds heard in these videos. So this sound, I think, has, well, pretty much the characteristics that we need to create the sounds that you hear in these videos. It has a metallic kind of character, right? And that's pretty much what we need, except that these sounds are way too short. So we gotta stretch this to create, well, a little bit of a longer sound. I could stretch this inside Ableton Live, that's perfectly fine, but the thing with Ableton Live is the time stretching algorithms are pretty good for making music or electronic music and just warping loops and shit, but if you're doing real sound design stuff, the time stretching algorithms, you hear the time stretching, and I really want to stretch this out without actually getting these time stretching artifacts. So I'm gonna stretch this using a different piece of software called Stretch. Now this is a Windows software, but I think there's a equivalent software for Mac as well. There should be. I'm not sure what it's called, but look it up on the internet. There's probably something out there. So I'm gonna open up my sample, and in here I'm gonna set the stretch to 4, so it's gonna stretch this file to 4 times its original length. I'm not too sure what all of these things do, so let's just keep that on stretch. I don't know, but I'm just gonna take something. Blackman Harris. That sounds cool. I don't know what this does, so let's just bring that, I don't know, to there. And I'm gonna go and write the file. So let's do it in the same folder. Dry ice, and I'm just gonna call that dry ice stretched. Render. So now it's rendered out the sound, and we should have it somewhere in here. There it is. So the sound has now become 4 times its original length. Yeah, that's right. I can show you the difference, by the way. If I turn warping on this one, and let's do Complex Pro because that is the most clean warping, I guess, or maybe do tones, that could work maybe. And let's stretch this out to 4 times its length. It's not exactly the same though, it's kind of weird, but, and let's consolidate that clip. So see what happens. It looks completely different from the time stretched version that we have. So yeah, it's definitely gonna make a huge difference. So what have we got now? Right now it sounds like this. So that already sounds a lot more like what we want. However, it's still not good enough. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to stretch this out even longer, but I also want to drop it in pitch. So I'm turning warping on, and I'm gonna set this to repitch mode, and I'm gonna double the speed. So now it's gonna be twice the length, and it's actually gonna be a full octave lower as well. So let's listen to it now. I think this one right here is pretty much what I'm looking for. Maybe we can make it even longer. That's starting to sound more like it, I think. So let's turn these into separate clips. Like that, so that I can actually give them some space, and I can add some fades afterwards. Let's just do that. So this one is gonna come in a little later, And there's gonna be a longer gap right here. Then this one comes in. Then we get that one. About here. This one, that one. I think this is pretty good. Let's add some fades. Because you definitely want to add fades to these kind of sounds. And they're probably gonna sound a little weird right now with these fades. But I'm gonna compress the shit out of this to really balance out the levels. And we're gonna add a shit ton of reverb to hope to make them sound a little bit more like the sounds heard in these videos. So that's a starting point. Let's add some reverb to this. I'm gonna do a Valhalla vintage verb, and let's go for a hall, large hall maybe. Whack that up quite a lot because we need a lot of reverb on this. Let's see how this sounds. So now we need a whole bunch of compression on this. I'm gonna put them a little bit closer to each other because otherwise it's gonna take quite long for us to listen to the entire thing. So I think this is better. So we might have to add a little EQ to this. Just take a regular low pass and just roll off those high end a little bit. And just to raise the level to 0 dB, I'm gonna add K-clip, which is my favorite. This is actually the new K-clip. I'm gonna do a video about this one pretty soon. That sounds pretty cool. We can try out what happens if we do this one and just stretch this out a couple of times. Sound amazing as well, especially these ones at the end. Let's see what we can do if we can stretch this out even further to 4 times the length. Now I've stretched these to quite a long file. I mean pretty much as long as the original as this one, but let's see how this sounds. it sounds amazing, but you can clearly hear that Ableton Live time stretching, as opposed to these versions. They just sound, I don't know, they sound a little better. Really interesting quality to them, this really interesting sound. I really love the way these sounds, by the way. So yeah, there you have it. I think it's pretty easy to create sounds like this. So let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Do you think these sounds are real? Do you think these videos are real? Or do you think it's just a complete hoax, it's made up? Let me know in the comments below. And maybe you've heard these sounds in real life. Let me know in the comments as well. I'll definitely be interested to hearing and seeing your videos. But other than that, I think it's definitely an easy thing to create sounds like these. Talk to any sound designer that's working in film, and I think they will say the same thing. So let me know in the comments below if you've tried out the same thing and tried to recreate sounds like this. Let me know how you did it. And other than that, I hope to see you back soon. Peace.